I'm Lauren Cawston Gregg and I work here at Cambridge Regional College, and today's video is going to be on a spinach gratin. So for today's, there's a couple of house rules that we need to get into place first, but also making sure that of course we're safe, but also try and look at diverse ways, but also looking at different ways that can be done, and look at how some chefs do it and of course how I do mine, which makes it a little bit easier. So first of all, we need to make sure, of course, our spinach is picked but also washed. Please, I know when it says on a bag already washed, please do still wash it, because of course when it comes into packaging you don't know what it's contained and what it's got near, so of course you need to make sure that it's thoroughly washed first. Once you've washed it, just place it into a sieve and just allow it to, of course, dry. Me personally, I've gone with fresh spinach today, and of course I'm going to show you a process of blanching and then of course refreshing and then squeezing out any additionals. But for example, if you're not able to get hold of some fresh spinach, feel free to pick up a bag of frozen spinach, which is now very easy to get hold of in like the local Sainsbury's, Asda's or anywhere like that in your supermarkets itself. So as you can see, I've got some boiling water here, and of course I've just got a little pinch of salt. The salt's going to help keep the green in the spinach itself, but also help elevate a little bit more flavour. So I'm just going to add my spinach. Move it. And then I'm just going to strain. It takes about literally 5 or 6 seconds to do, and then we're going to drop into an ice bath. An ice bath is cold water and ice, and this dramatically stops the cooking process. So this will also help elevate the colour of the green, and of course it really makes it nice and vibrant. If you're making any other dishes, of course you can also do this same process if you're doing oils and stuff as well. So once you get to that stage and it's nice and cool, we're just going to now strain it. And then we have our spinach. So we're just going to let that dry just for 5 minutes or so, just while we make our bechamel sauce. Because with the sauce itself, you don't want too much liquid coming out of the spinach, because what will happen is it will then bleed out into your bechamel, making it very wet. So you still want that texture, but also consistency where it still holds quite well. So to make a bechamel or a basic white sauce, I'm just going to place a suitable pan. Just make sure when you use a suitable pan that it's going to be big enough to add all your elements in, but also you don't want to go to a pan that has like direct down edges. You want to make sure it's nice and curved. So when you go to whisk it, you can get all into your creases and it doesn't burn. So you need to make sure you be very careful what pans you use. Actually, I've got a nice curved pan, but also it's a heavy bottom pan. I'm going to start off just by melting down my butter. I always use unsalted butter. People always say, why do you use unsalted butter more than salted? It's because of course I would rather add my salt at the end rather than at the beginning. So I'm just going to add that at the end. I'm just going to melt down my butter. I then have plain flour. Always best to use plain, never self-raising or strong. It will add a completely different end game to your bechamel itself. Your self-raising, of course, will make it won't be correct consistency because it's got baking powder in, and when it comes to using strong flour, it makes it very heavy and dense. You just want that nice light consistency. You'll notice with my heat, I haven't got it at a rapid boil or of course a rapid heat. The reason for that is you don't want to burn a pan. Butter can burn very quickly, and of course we don't necessarily want that. The heat of the pan itself will do all the work for us. It's just us keeping an eye on it. I'm now going to add my flour, and this is what we call a roux. So by cooking this out, this is our thickening agent. We're going to make it a blonde one, so please don't add any coloration to it. So we're just going to cook it out. And you'll notice it's like a light golden brown at the moment, and eventually it will start to go a little bit more whiter, and that means you're cooking out the flour, and of course that will be our thickening agent. If you don't cook out the flour long enough, you can actually taste it in your own product, so you need to be very mindful of that and be very careful. Cooking out of the bechamel itself will take about 2 to 3 minutes to do, but also, as you can see, constantly whisking, because of course if not it will burn and catch. So when it comes down to adding your milk, Some chefs, what they'll do is they'll get a hot pan and of course place their milk in so when you add in your milk to your bechamel, or sorry, your roux base, it will start to heat the cook up straight away. Whereas some chefs would of course naturally would use cold milk and put it in. But me personally, I prefer to use warm milk going into a hot roux. You can also add bay leaves, you can also add cloves, this will also enhance the flavour, and of course you could also add ground nutmeg. Me personally, with the ground nutmeg, I have a learner that currently has a nut allergy, so I can't actually put that in at the moment, just in case they get a whiff of it itself, so I have to take consideration of other people's allergies at the time. So now I've cooked out my roux, I'm going to start gradually adding my milk. You'll see that I've noticed I've added a little bit at a time. It's always good to add a little bit because, as you can see, it will go very, very quickly and it will cook like so. To prevent any lumps, you just need to gradually add it. Don't add it all at once because, of course, you will get lumps. So by doing it little by little, it will slowly start to loosen up, which makes your life a little bit easier. Super. Okay, so as you can see by my bechamel, my roux now, it's come to a nice silky sauce. So for this sauce, I did 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of flour, and then I did 100 to 150 of milk. But me personally, I'm a little bit naughty. I do add a little dash of cream just for extra richness, but also flavour. So that's pretty much about 20 mils of cream. So you want about 130 milk to make 20 grams of cream. And of course, as you can see, that's just changed the richness of the dish. When you go to do this, you do want it to be quite thick. The reason for that is you want it to hold the actual spinach in place. You don't want it to seep out. So you've got to think of your consistency. And like I was saying earlier on, we will be, of course, actually squeezing out all the excess water from the spinach. And of course, this makes it a nice, succulent and rich sauce. Okay. So now we're just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, like I was saying to you before. Always season before you go to add your spinach, because of course your sauce will be what helps elevate the flavour actually of your gratin itself. As I'd like making gratins, and with my topping as well, you'll soon see as well, I am going to grate ever so slightly about 5 to 10 grams of Parmesan as well, just to really help that flavour go through as well. So it's nice and rich. You can use a cheddar if you prefer. I always find with Parmesan it just has that nicer taste and it really helps elevate the actual spinach gratin itself as well. Lovely. So as you can see, nice and smooth, no lumps. So I'm going to put that to the side for 10 seconds, just while I quickly squeeze out my spinach. So using a nice clean tea towel, you will just place your spinach inside of your tea towel. So, and then you're just going to make a little pouch, like that. You're just going to place the spinach in the centre like that. And you're just going to squeeze out all that excess water. So as you can imagine, your lovely thick sauce that you've just made, this could have a massive impact on that and make it very watery and make it very loose. So by squeezing all this out, it's going to help in that concept. There we go. Then we have our spinach nice and dry, and then we're just going to drop that in. There we go. Give it a nice little stir, like so. And this was about 200 grams of spinach. As you can see, it does go in. But if you're wanting more and you want extra, feel free to use a little bit more. If you use frozen, of course, it will actually be a lot more spinach than fresh because of the weight content itself. Be mindful if you are using frozen spinach, it might actually hold a little bit more water than what fresh will. So just as a tip there, just make sure you really squeeze it out. So now I'm going to get my little pot. I'm going to scoop in. There you go, just put that bit there for you. Do a bit of a better angle for you. As you can see, a good ratio of spinach to sauce, like so. And then I've got some breadcrumbs, which is panko gluten-free. And of course, I just put a bit of chive and a little bit of parsley just for additional flavour and taste. Like so. And then again, just a tiny bit of parmesan. And then onto a tray. And I'm just going to toast it under the salamander for about a minute to 2 minutes most, just until it's gone golden brown. And as you can see, nice golden brown colorization on the top of the gratin. And that is your spinach gratin with parmesan crust and a bit of chives as well, just for colour and flavour.